Dark secrets of reality TV. Y'all know Patrick CC don't disappoint with these little mini documentaries. And I'm not going to lie to you. I think this is a Mr. Beast show right here. I've been hearing a lot of controversy about Mr. Beast. So let's just get straight into it, because I'm kind of curious to hear about the dark side of reality TV.
Oh, it's all scripted, it's all fake. That's not exactly true either. You see, these shows operate more like human science experiments than scripted entertainment. Producers aren't necessarily telling contestants what to do, what to say, and how to act, but going through a series of calculated behind-the-scenes steps to control the environment and nearly guarantee chaos on camera.
Mr. Beast production is crazy. Y'all see this shit? Hold
on, steps
bro.
To control the
Oh my god, and that's probably just one room. That's probably not even the main room, because I remember hearing he broke a record for like most cameras on a show or some shit.
Environment and nearly guarantee chaos on camera. Unfortunately, because these tactics are designed to push people past their breaking point, there have been countless cases where contestants' lives were tragically cut short, with many pointing to the mental and emotional toll these shows have had on them. Today we are going to uncover the step-by-step process reality shows use to psychologically manipulate their contestants into getting the entertainment that they want, and all the ways it has gone horribly wrong. It all starts with the people they cast in the first place, whose personality profiles will naturally clash, ensuring fights and maximizing drama. Even though reality shows can have vastly different premises, most of them follow a similar structure. Bring a group of strangers together, isolate them from the outside world, and then put them through some kind of challenge with real stakes.
I do not be watching reality TV like that. I'm gonna keep it a stack. I really don't. Especially that Love Island shit. I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm different, I'm special. But like, bro, I did not understand why everyone was so invested in that shit, bro. It's actually crazy.
On the line, and whether the final prize.
What we have here is $5 million
I can't go
in
5 seconds without a damn ad, bro.
Trading. Since 2018, we've been delivering
Prize is money or love. The production process for maximizing the entertainment value of these shows is mostly the same, and a lot of it relies on morally unethical behavior. Before the cameras turn on, reality shows have an extremely calculated casting process. The first step for getting on many reality shows is a lengthy application, and we're not talking a job application. Shows like Big Brother require IQ and psychological evaluations to ensure contestants will be able to perform under pressure. Survivor is similar, where production goes through 25,000 initial applicants, complete with background and psychological screenings before they're even considered for a callback. One of the reasons why this process takes so long is because producers aren't just looking for good contestants, they're looking for specific characters. Every person on the show has to fit a very specific role. You might have the hero, the villain, the underdog, the heartbreaker, the loudmouth, the wild card. It's like casting for a movie, except the script hasn't been written yet. And usually the most successful shows are when everyone plays their role perfectly. Like in Jersey Shore, Ronnie was the hothead who wanted to start fights. Jenny was the female hothead who wanted to start fights. Snooki was the lovable mess. Mike the Situation was the arrogant loudmouth. Vinny was the laid-back, lovable nice guy. Pauly D was the uplifting wingman. You knew exactly what you were going to get from each character, which made the show easier to produce, made the stories easier to write, and fans could easily understand and develop parasocial relationships with the cast.
I'm gonna be honest, Jersey Shore low-key is like the blueprint to a lot of these TV shows. Despite whether people feel like they want to agree or not, whether they like the show or not. And me, I wasn't really a fan. I more so like the lore and the memes that were made about it. Like, I honestly didn't even know what Jersey Shore was until South Park made that meme episode on them, which I think a lot of people know what I'm talking about. But like, they are the blueprint low-key when it comes to like the drama reality TV show, people in the house kind of stuff. Like, think about it. All the stuff that we be seeing with the streaming type of productions is literally inspired by this. Platboy Max's goddamn what was it called? I forgot. He had a dating show. I forgot what it was called. Oh my god, I'm blanking on the name. Whatever. Yeah, like Platboy Max had that dating show. You know, Kai Cenat wants to do that damn Streamer Island. Even Streamer University to a degree. You know what I mean? DDG, which we about to react to after this too. He did a trailer for his goddamn Who My Ball dating show. All of these ideas are literally stemming from them. They are the blueprint. Even though they may be corny and weird ass people, they started this revolution in TV.
However, during the casting process, what producers are truly looking for are people that exhibit characteristics known as the dark triad. The term dark triad refers to a trio of negative personality traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Put more simply, they're looking for those who are entitled, lack empathy, and manipulate others. Why? Well, these are the people that create the best drama. A perfect example is Russell Hantz from Survivor. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor, Fume. Flavored air is quickly becoming the... Have you ever caught yourself just wanting to fit in and enjoy? Fume is a word you just blend feels great and forever change pack using experience. Get yours burning other contestants. Those focus on strategy and endurance. Russell became legendary for burning other contestants' socks, sabotaging food supplies, and lying straight to people's face. He wasn't just playing the game, he was thriving on manipulation and control, and fans love to hate him for it. Some contestants wear these dark triad traits like a badge of honor. Tiffany New York Pollard is one of the most iconic reality stars in history who was unapologetic about stirring up drama on VH1's Flavor of Love.
I don't even know this show.
Not you. You can choke. This was the first interaction I really had with Rain, so I wanted to see her anger level. I wanted to see if I was powerful enough to twist her mind. It was a mind thing. She got mind screwed by me, and it worked. My advice to the other ladies in the house would be beware of me, because I'm not backing down.
Or take Stephen Bear from X on the Beach. He built a persona around seduction, betrayal, and exploiting his relationships for entertainment, but it turns out this was no persona. This was actually who he was in real life. Bear was convicted and jailed for revenge porn after leaking explicit footage of an ex-partner online. He was sentenced to 21 months in prison. Psychologist Pamela B. Rutledge says that the perfect reality TV star and the perfect scammer or con artist have many overlapping traits. Actors, con artists, and scammers all tend to exude energy and have excellent powers of persuasion. The best scammers can project something desirable and likable about themselves to increase perceptions of trust and appear to offer an opportunity with lots of upside while glossing over the risks. And to no surprise, there are literally countless people who were found guilty of financial crimes before or after appearing on reality TV. Jen Shah from The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was running a telemarketing scam.
Bro, that is way too much surgery, bro. Like, that's not a natural chin. She looked like the goddamn, what's it called? The Crimson Chin. Y'all remember that? The Crimson Chin from damn Fairly Odd Parents? I'm not trying to be an asshole, y'all. I'm apologizing. Like, look, I'm sorry. But I gotta call it out for what it is. What's the name again? Crimson Chin. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Like, bro, you do, that's not a natural chin, my girl. Like, that's just not natural. Look at this shit. That's insane. You know what? No, not even Crimson Chin, actually. Hold on. Stan from American Dad. That's a way more accurate one. That's like a bold ass chin. Obviously she's a woman, but like, bro, y'all don't see the similarities? Like, that's just too much. Like, look, me, I got a nice jawline because I exercise and shit, right? But my shit's natural. I don't got no damn Botox and shit going on in here, you know? This like it. I don't understand. No, you watch the show, Nate? I've never seen. Wait, which one? Which show? There's no. You was watching Real Housewives? Are you talking about American Dad? Which show we talking about? Because I was never watching Real Housewives, but American Dad's OG as hell, and so is Fairly Odd Parents. Yeah, American Dad. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. This might be a hot take. I think American Dad is better than Family Guy. Personally, I loved American Dad way more than Family Guy. Like, Family Guy's cool, don't get me wrong. I like Family Guy. It's cool. But the humor in American Dad was just way better to me because I felt like Family Guy relied so much on like the cutaways of like, you know, I always saw when it popped up on the TV because it would air. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, yeah. Damn. Maybe you might have been too, I don't know if you were too young to watch that show or not because they had some shit going on in that show, I'll be honest. It's a good thing you didn't grow up when South Park was like popping. I mean, South Park is still popping. But like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you've seen South Park, but even my mom would not want me watching that show. I would have to sneak watching South Park in my room when she was asleep because I loved the show so much, but she knew how vulgar and crazy it was. South Park is a goated ass cartoon for sure.
targeting vulnerable, often elderly individuals. Shaw pleaded guilty and was later sentenced to 6.5 years in prison and ordered to pay $6.5 million in restitution. Teresa Giudice from the Real Housewives of New Jersey served 11 months in prison after committing multiple acts of financial fraud. Richard Hatch from Survivor was indicted for fraud and tax evasion. Todd and Julie Chrisley were found guilty of both evading taxes and conspiracy to defraud community banks out of more than $30 million to fund their lavish lifestyle. Julie and Todd were sentenced to 7 and 12 years in prison, but lucky for them, another reality star scammer had the power to personally pardon them. If you just Google reality star fraud, you'll get so many different examples that it actually looks like these producers are intentionally trying to cast scammers to be on their show.
Bro, like, this is the biggest piece of advice I can give anybody watching this shit. How many we got what? We got goddamn 4 viewers in the chat. To the 4 motherfuckers in here, please, when y'all get money, because I know that every single person in my tribe is going to grow up to be rich. I'm telling y'all, I know that, okay? We got the best community on earth. So to all my boys and girls that are going to grow up to be rich as shit, pay your damn taxes. I'm giving you the game right now. Pay your debts. Do not get credit card debt. And pay your damn taxes, because if you don't, when you get some money, Uncle Sam's going to come busting your door down and say, you either pay me or I'm taking you to jail. I've known people in the past, I wouldn't say known, but I've known of people who didn't pay taxes for 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it is. They made hella bread, and then out of nowhere, they just get that one notification, that one call, that one email, whatever it is, and then somebody pulling up to their actual house. They'll come to your house. They will literally come to you. It's not all Instagram DMs. They will knock on your door and say, you got to pay this shit. And you think, oh, wow, I had a good year. I made me $300K this year. They going to come there and take 80% of that. Pay your taxes. It's not worth it.
Show producers have been criticized for not doing enough due diligence to avoid platforming bad or immoral people. Since they go through a deep vetting process, they should know about any potential controversies. Bachelor contestants met with a private investigator who is, quote, trained to dig up any skeletons in the closet, partly to use for their storyline, but also to get ahead of any tabloid stories that could come to the surface if they were on the show. Had they ever been arrested? Had they ever sent nude photos to anyone? Had they ever made an X tape? Had they gotten a DUI? Recently, Love Island cast member Sierra Ortega was removed from season 7 after posts from years ago resurfaced showing her using a racial slur that was historically used to attack Asian people. Outrage erupted online, she was labeled a racist, and fans demanded that she be removed from the show. She announced that she left the show due to a personal situation and then issued an apology online.
I had
Monday.com, the opposite of any work platform we
What
tried
did she
in the
say?
past.
That's the real question.
Tried other
I
work
wanna know what she
management
said.
platforms, not naming names. They all suck.
no ill intention when I was using it, but that's absolutely no excuse because intent doesn't excuse ignorance. It just doesn't.
Sierra also noted in her apology that angry fans called ICE on her family, and she posted a slew of extremely hateful messages and threats she was receiving. To give you an idea of the magnitude of
That's
Love
crazy.
Island and this controversy, Sierra's apology video has over 20 million views. Now, some people were confused why this was being treated as a new news story, considering she had publicly addressed and apologized for the use of this slur before she was ever on Love Island, and that raised some conspiracies. Some suggest that producers knew about this controversy before the masses did and actively ignored it. Because if you
100%.
think about it, Love
100%.
Island only benefits from Sierra's backlash, as her name is directly tied to the Netflix series. I think it's safe to assume that when it comes to a reality TV show, all publicity is good publicity, right? When Love is Blind faced similar backlash for allegedly platforming bad people, creator Chris Colin defended their vetting process. We have background checks and psychological evaluations. Everyone in the world has a story, and we aren't the police. These shows don't take accountability for the actions of their contestants because, well, realistically, they aren't to blame, but also because they aren't exactly looking for the most morally righteous individuals in the first place. Producers want a perfect mix of unpredictable, toxic, and genuine personalities.
You know what's so funny about that? I actually do have a funny, mini little story about that. So when I first got to Miami, I'm talking about literally the first month I was here, first 2 weeks I was here. I got an opportunity to be on a reality TV show, a casting for it, right? And I remember I went to downtown Miami. It was it was a in-person casting / interview in this bougie ass hotel. I'm talking about like them luxury ass hotels where you got the damn Raris and valet at the front, and then I went all the way up to like the 30th floor, and it was like these three what was it? They were like, I forgot what kind of European. They were like Polish or something. I forgot. They were like some form of European. They had thick accents like, oh, hello, how are you? I don't know what accent that was, but they had some thick ass accents, right? And I remember I got up there was like 5 or 6 other people waiting to be interviewed as well. A couple baddies, you know, a couple regular guys. And yeah, so like a couple regular dudes, a couple like baddies that were definitely going to be accepted into the show. I'm talking about like some fine shit. Anyway, I get there and I'm talking to them and they were asking me a lot of questions, and in my opinion, he said, bro, chill. In my opinion, they were asking me questions where I'm like, okay, because mind you, I've been casted for a lot of different things, but this was my first time ever going to a casting for a reality TV show. So this is a little bit out my element, right? They were asking me a lot of controversial questions. Like I remember before they even asked me my name or anything, they asked me, "Can you fight?" I'm like, the fuck is this? What, y'all don't even know my name and y'all asking me if I could fight? What? Bro, ask my name. At least ask how's my day. Did I have a good breakfast? Y'all gonna talk about can I fight? What's wrong with y'all? Like, I get it. Y'all want to have a good show, right? Y'all want to find the right character, but that was the first question that exited their mouth. Can you fight? I'm like, I mean, and this is dead ass my answer. And honestly, looking back in hindsight, this is probably the reason why I didn't get picked. Because I was like, I'm not a physical person. Like, I don't like to fight, but best believe if somebody tries to test my goddamn, my damn, what's the word? Like my bitch meter, I'm gonna stand on business. I'm not gonna get bitched around. If I gotta defend somebody like my wifey or myself or my people, I'm gonna stand on business. I'm gonna stand on toes, bro. I'm literally gonna stand on business and be like, let's fucking go. Let's go, right? I'm gonna stand on business. But I said that, look, I told him, I'm like, I'm gonna stand on business, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to fight somebody. Like, I'm not an aggressive person. I'm a very friendly, positive brother. I got no ops, right? I got no ops because I'm a good guy, right? But and then when they were responding, I'm like, I could see it in their faces. They're like, okay, all right. Anyway, how's your name? I can't even replicate the accent that they had because I don't even know how they were fucking talking. They had so many different speech patterns. And then after they asked me the whole "can you fight" shit, they kept asking like, okay, random things like what's your name, obviously, all this kind of stuff. Like, how would you act if somebody did this? How would you act if somebody did that? And I could just tell that what Patrick CC is saying is so true. Like, they were specifically trying to scope out if I would be the kind of person that would be controversial and get a lot of problems going on in the house and start fighting guys and getting in arguments with girls and shit. Like, look, me, I'm funny, I'm charismatic. If you put me in a movie with Kevin Hart, that shit will go to the moon. But reality TV, when it comes to the drama and shit, I'm not the controversial guy. That's what I came to realize. So it's like, I don't know if I'm gonna keep trying to get on reality TV because I do know there's a bag there and you also can get viral that way. But I don't know. We'll see. But it just feels like if all of this reality TV shit is scripted and like you got to be all controversial and be cancelable, I don't know if it's for me personally.
Which when thrown in a room together for long enough are guaranteed to cause chaos and produce dramatic television.
I'm sorry to keep pausing, but look, I'm not going to be this guy starting problems. I'm going to be this brother right here. I'm not going to be this guy right here. I'm going to be this brother right here like, bro, what we doing here? What's going on, right? But then the minute something goes like this, that's where I go, the fuck? But I'm going to try my best to not get to that point.
A room together for long enough are guaranteed to cause chaos and produce dramatic television. Then again, producers' psychological manipulation tactics can even have genuine people behave differently than they normally would. Sarah Hartshorn, who was cast on America's Next Top Model in 2007, described producers exuding a subtle tactic. Thousands upon thousands sent in audition tapes from all over the country, every single state. We had casting scouts all over looking for candidates, and you guys are the ones who made it. You're here, and it's not just your looks. You all know that being a top model is more than that. It's who you are. And one of you is America's Next Top Model. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. By framing the contestants as chosen and exceptional, producers create a heightened sense of purpose and pressure. It deepens the emotional investment of the cast, making them more willing to endure extreme conditions or humiliation for the sake of not wasting their once-in-a-lifetime shot. It also shifts the power dynamic in favor of the producers. Contestants are no longer just people, they're characters in the producer's story that they feel obligated to live up to. And before ever stepping onto the set, contestants are almost always required to sign strict contracts, often including detailed non-disclosure agreements. Now, it's easy to understand why NDAs are somewhat necessary to prevent the show's ending from being spoiled by bitter contestants, as the episodes were filmed months in advance, but fans have to wait week after week to find out what happens. What they don't realize is sometimes these contracts come with threats. Sarah Hartstone recalls America's Next Top Model producers threatening to sue contestants for $5 million if they leaked any information about the show. The contestants were shook. They thought, we don't have $5 million. The producers replied, we know you don't. We know all about all of your financial information. None of you have $5 million. None of your families have $5 million either. But the NDAs can go even further. They can prohibit contestants from publicly discussing production conditions, mental health struggles during filming, and any manipulative tactics producers use behind the scenes. Take this viral Reddit post from a former reality show contestant, for example. The producers made me go through hell for 4 months. I lost my house, my car, my business, my boyfriend. I was very naive and they exploited me to the point of a mental breakdown. They used contracts to hold me hostage in a sense, gaslit me every day. I can't even bring myself to discuss what they did as it's so upsetting to think of, as they used me and I feel so stupid. I'm now living with my parents at 40, too afraid to date or work again and have overwhelming shame. Now sure, this could just be a random person on the internet making this whole thing up, but this anonymous recount sounds exactly like the countless personal stories I will share throughout this video. So now that producers have acquired a
Work today is broken.
That's the biggest thing, bro.
We're all working in too many disconnected
That's the biggest
apps,
thing, man.
and it's killing team productivity.
You gotta read those damn contracts. You know, Nate, I know you've been talking about wanting to be an actor, bro. If you really want to do that and you want to go on that grind, you need to read them damn contracts. That's the thing. That's why, honestly, sometimes in hindsight, I'm like, you know what? I'm glad that I didn't like pop off or get super rich or successful as like a super youngin' like a lot of these other people, you know? Like, because when I was like a teen, I used to think like, damn, like I'm trying to be, you know, rich as fuck and successful and famous by the time I'm like 20, 21. You know, I want to be like them super young lit people. But then I'm like, wait, I would have made so many dumb decisions that probably would have fucked over my life right now if I like had that kind of access, bro. Because I'm not gonna lie, back then I was not educated on any of this when it came to reading your contracts, when it came to navigating the industry, when it came to how to operate in certain situations. Like, there's just so much that life has taught me that I wouldn't have learned if I was already achieving things like this, you know? Like, and you be seeing it too. A lot of people who pop off young and get these kind of opportunities and then they get fucked over in the contracts and stuff like that, they be mad depressed and struggling financially later down the road and you wouldn't even know. Like, I remember I was seeing this interview of what's his name, Drake, from Drake and Josh, and he was talking about how, like, because he signed the contract and the way the contract was made, he makes no money from the show. He makes no money. He said he's struggling to pay rent, and he was on Drake and Josh, arguably one of the biggest like Nickelodeon shows ever. It was iconic, bro, from my childhood and like a lot of other people's childhood as well, you know? And the fact that he is fucked now, and he's only, I think, in his like what, mid-30s, maybe late 30s if I'm wrong. It's insane. And it's like, bro, if I get one show like that, I need to make sure I'm getting paid for the rest of my life. And it all comes down to the damn contracts. It always comes down to that.
A perfect cast of clashing personalities, instilled all of them with a slight god complex, and prevented them from revealing any information about their experience, the next thing to do is manipulate their surroundings, restricting their diet, and implementing borderline torturous tactics to manufacture chaos. Jesus. And it all starts with 24/7 surveillance. As soon as you wake up in the morning, your mic is put on. When you go to bed, it's taken off. On The Bachelor, contestants sign contracts in which they must agree to be filmed up to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But this may also be by means of hidden cameras and microphones, according to the contract, meaning they're likely going to be caught at some point in a less than positive light. They should have no expectation of privacy. This may seem like an obvious necessity for reality TV to function. After all, the only way they can capture reality is by making sure literally everything is being filmed and recorded. right? Sometimes you see a contestant rip off their microphone and storm off to essentially protest being recorded, but the cameras just follow them anyways, and the audience is excited for more drama. It's a harsh reminder that they literally can never escape. On The Bachelor, constant filming is actually sold as a good part of the experience. Contestants open up about things like anxiety, grief, or past trauma, all while the cameras are rolling 24/7, turning their real pain into a part of the show. The audience is made to believe that all this surveillance is necessary to show someone's journey, because towards the end of the show, there is literally a highlight reel of all of their pain being broadcast to millions of people. And the craziest part is, the contestants have no control of how that pain is edited, manufactured, and presented to the world. Surveillance is done by the producers to maintain complete control over their participants, and this anonymous Love Island contestant described the extreme lengths producers would go to.
When you're there, you don't realise how much you are controlled by them. If you talk too much about life outside of the island, the voice of God, which is like a big speaker, will tell you to shut up. So it's like, this doesn't make good telly. Most of your day is just filled with gossiping about situations inside the villa, because that's all you're allowed to talk about.
Yeah, so
Another
toxic,
former
bro.
Love Island
That's
contestant
so
described what
toxic.
producers will do to provoke a
not do that shit.
situation.
They set up the environment to test you because they know exactly what you don't like, they know exactly what you're scared of, they know what you're attracted to, what you're not attracted to, they know your triggers. So it's very easy for them to manipulate your environment and situations to get the best reaction out of you. And especially when the storyline is not going the way that they want, they know exactly how to fix that because they know you very well. You're literally just a little rat in their experiment, and they're trying to see what they can change and what they can do to see how you're going to react and how far they can push you.
Now, beyond surveillance, one of the foundational elements of a successful reality show is keeping the contestants in pure isolation. In Big Brother, contestants are confined to a house with no access to phones, internet, television, or contact with family and friends. This isolation forces them to rely on their relationships within the house, making every alliance, betrayal, and argument feel more intense. Former Bachelor contestant Leslie Hughes said, "We have nothing. We are completely cut off from the world. We have to talk to each other. We have nothing else to do." Similarly, Love Island isolates contestants in a luxurious villa where they have no communication with the outside world. There are no distractions, and they essentially create this artificial bubble where everything on set becomes the only thing that matters to them.
We didn't have any autonomy at all. Not only did they take our phones, they took our wallets, they took our IDs, they took our passports, all in the same instance, without telling us ahead of time this was going to happen.
And we were filming 18 to 20 hours a day. The only time we weren't being filmed was when the union crews swapped out for a new crew because they had met their maximum for the day.
You never see daylight unless you're allowed to use the bathroom, which is a trailer outside. They keep you in the state where you really have no idea how much time has transpired. It's one of those things where, looking back on it, if someone told me it was a month, I might have believed them.
So what else can they do to cure their boredom? Well, have you ever noticed just how much alcohol is being consumed on reality TV shows? It feels like most of the explosive moments or juicy drama erupts after a night of heavy drinking. Nick Bateman from Big Brother said, "Alcohol was given to us when we were feeling down or depressed or nothing was going on, because obviously alcohol is the Molotov cocktail producers use to liven things up." Bateman says drinks were coveted by contestants because it would quell the boredom of being captive in the house. Bronwyn Wyndham Burke from The Real Housewives of Orange County says that producers took it a step further. Whenever you're filming, they have alcohol there. They ask you before you go on a trip, what kind do you like? They get to know what your favorites are. And while producers don't force you to drink, alcoholic beverages were readily available, and that sometimes during scenes, cast members were discouraged from eating. Jeremy Hartwell, who was a Love is Blind contestant, sued the company alleging that he could not access food and water, but alcohol was available and even encouraged on an empty stomach. Now, it's one thing to give a bunch of partiers some alcohol, but putting restrictions on their diet is just borderline evil, and there's a lot of evidence that supports this tactic. On The Bachelor, contestants are not allowed to eat any food during their dates because the microphones pick up the unpleasant sounds. No one looks good eating, and microphones pick up all kinds of chomp.
What's the point of having a damn food there for aesthetic? That just looks dumb. You just have a dinner date, but you're not eating dinner. That's crazy.
Now, this seems like a justifiable reason, and even though it sounds messed up, up, in shows like Survivor or Alone, contestants aren't fed enough to somewhat mimic the simulated reality of surviving in the wild. But one could also theorize that low blood sugar could prompt emotional reactions, pushing contestants towards emotional or medical breakdowns.
I'll get hangry.
In Mr. Beast games, contestants complained about their food rations. One meal reportedly included a tiny portion of cold oatmeal, one hard-boiled egg, and a few pieces of raw vegetables. They also described going long stretches without being fed by the production. There were times when the production staff gave out small feastable chocolate bars and filmed some people eating and praising the candy. Contestants with food allergies and dietary restrictions struggled more than others. Before the competition, people filled out forms detailing their dietary needs. An FAQ document was provided to contestants in advance of the event and said that all dietary and food restrictions would be taken into consideration. However, several contestants claimed to be served food they were allergic to and that alternatives hadn't been provided. "We were treated horribly," a contestant said. "They took on this challenge of 2,000 competitors. They should have known they needed an enormous crew to handle this correctly." So now that producers have trapped and isolated borderline toxic people who are malnourished and pumped with alcohol, at the very least, a good night's sleep would be their last chance to recalibrate. Well, they don't get that either, because sleep deprivation is one of the most messed up but crucial parts of the reality show entertainment formula.
This is your brain
This is
when you're
fucked up,
struggling
man.
to focus.
This is actually crazy,
and this
bro.
is your brain when you're in the zone.
With Villa Light, there's no clocks. What they was doing was like keeping you up really late, waking you up early, so then you're going to react more because you like basically got sleep deprivation.
Most
I didn't know it was this bad, I'll be honest. And like this video is just kind of proven to me, bro, every single time. Like I swear, even the reality TV show, that opportunity that I told y'all about, like every single time there's an opportunity for me and it just doesn't work out and I get pissed off in that moment, eventually I realize on a long enough time frame that it wasn't meant for me, and I'm glad it didn't happen. Like the reality TV show would have been great money wise. Like I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm gonna keep it a stack with y'all. My damn, hold on, shit. My damn backpack's here. I'm gonna keep it a stack with y'all. They were going to pay me a lot of money. Like they told me, I'm being so real right now, y'all, and this would have been life-changing for me. They told me that if I got accepted, I would have been making $15K a month for 3 months. So I would have made $45K in 3 months. That's some bread. That's some money. That's some moolah that I could have invested, right? And they told me it would have been filmed in Miami, and it wouldn't even been somewhere crazy. It literally would have been at some mansion like near my house right now. It would have been some mansion in this area. But when I think about the toxic conditions that you got to go through and just the mental obstacles you got to face, like, bro, I don't even know how that would affect me afterwards. That shit's just not worth it. Like, I'm not going to act like every single reality TV show is the same and, like, you know, like all these videos mean that every single one's going to have the exact same effect on you. But it's like, more times than not, these shows are going to fuck you up mentally or do something to you legally, or who knows what will happen, you know? So it's like, I don't know. Every single time it doesn't work out for me, I just feel like the universe is always looking out like, yo, this is not for you, man. And then even when I denied the opportunity with that one artist that I told y'all about also, it's like, I feel like that's also another situation where I just recognize it's just not for me. You gotta just know when the things are for you, and you gotta go with your heart.
Reality shows follow a similar daily routine. Wake up early in the morning, typically around 7 a.m. Then they go do their competitions or tasks for the day. Then in the evenings, they talk strategy or socialize with another while getting drunk. Now you have to keep in mind that producers' top priority is to get 45 minutes of watchable television each day. They can count on roughly half of the airtime coming from the actual competitions or tasks, but the other half needs to be the all too sweet drama that everyone craves. And if the day is coming to an end and they don't think they have enough, they will keep the contestants awake. For 3 years, Sarah Shapiro worked as a producer on the reality show The Bachelor. Her task, as she recalls it, was to get the contestants to open up and to give them terrible advice and to deprive them of sleep. She sees it now as complicated manipulation through friendship. In Jeremy Hartwell's lawsuit against Love is Blind, he said that they implemented what was called night dating. We didn't have clocks or anything, so it's hard to know exactly when it happened, but typically the night dates would last until about 2 a.m. a.m. He estimates that between getting back to his hotel room at 3 a.m. and being expected in the lobby at 7:15 a.m., he got 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night. On the challenge, cast members have reported being kept up until 3 or 4 a.m. and then forced into physically demanding tasks just a few hours later. On Love Island, lights in the villa stay on until producers decide it's time for bed, and contestants are often woken up abruptly for surprise challenges. The lights are on the entire time during Big Brother taping, even when the contestants are asleep. Interestingly enough, this is the same tactic that is used by the toughest maximum security prison in El Salvador. Privacy and sleeping with the lights off is considered a privilege.
The modules are kept lit all day and night for monitoring. When the sun goes down, the lights stay on all the time.
They are constantly being observed. I think this is one of the hardest things. When they try to sleep, they use their towels and cover their eyes to block the light.
And if all this manipulation, control, pushing contestants to their breaking point still isn't enough to make a good show, producers have one final weapon. They'll rewrite reality itself through a process known as Frankenbiting. Frankenbiting is the editing technique reality TV producers use to reshape a contestant's words and actions into whatever storyline they want, even if it's not what actually happened. Editors take small clips of dialogue, sometimes even single words or reactions, and stitch them together to create entirely new sentences or emotional responses that never happened in real life. Now, a lot of the time, this seems to be completely innocuous. Like this clip from The Bachelor. The girl who says, "shut up," is spliced into the edit to make it look like she interrupted Corinne.
I know that I may not be everyone's favorite person.
Shut up.
And I feel like there's like things going on
That's
behind
crazy,
my back or
bro.
comments.
That's so funny. You could actually like if he didn't tell me that, I wouldn't have noticed. But now they told me, I can actually hear it. Like you could literally hear how it's edited.
I know that I may not be everyone's favorite person.
Shut up.
And I feel like there's like things going on behind my back or comments or whispers. And
in that moment in real life, when Corinne was talking, Jamie did not interrupt her and say shut up. That was taken from an entirely different moment out of context. And then the women who are shown laughing after Jamie says shut up was also clearly taken out of context. This happens so often in reality TV, and it's extremely clunky to watch. It often makes me wonder how people get so invested when you can see that things are manipulated even for the smallest reasons. However, sometimes situations are chopped up so much and narratives are so distorted that it's shameful producers got away with it. On season 1 of Joe Millionaire in 2003, Sarah Kozer was being portrayed as the bad girl. Producers set up a scene where Sarah and Evan go for a walk into the dark yard where the cameras cannot capture them. They took audio from Sarah getting a back massage from another female castmate hours before and then put it over a vague panning shot of the backyard and made it seem like she was giving Evan top in the woods.
They made it look like she gave him head in the woods.
But even when Sarah tried to go to the press after the show was over and convince everyone that the whole scene was taken out of context, people around the world were not convinced.
Let me take a couple of calls. All right, let's go to Randy. Randy, go ahead.
Hey, Howard, how are you?
Yeah.
Sarah, let me tell you something. You're making up this whole story about you were set up. You were in love with that guy. You were all over him. You went into the woods. We all heard the slurpy noise.
Right, you know what? I hate to break it to you. I just want you to entertain the possibility that perchance not everything you see on television is exactly
You didn't give him oral?
Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Hello?
I believe it.
As soon as he didn't pick you and you heard he didn't have the money, you were devastated. You're nothing but a gold-digging white trash loser.
Although Sarah Kozer handled this scrutiny...
Oh, damn, bro. Holy shit. Why are you going in on her like that, bro? You don't even know her. That's crazy. See, these haters they be having so much balls behind the screen, man. That's insane. Like, why are you so mad? Seriously.
As soon as he didn't pick you and you heard he didn't have the money, you were devastated. You're nothing but a gold-digging white trash loser.
Although Sarah Kozer handled this scrutiny from the public with grace, others fell victim to the immense backlash. One of the darkest consequences of reality show editing is how quickly contestants become targets for obsessive, toxic fandoms, which has mostly been aimed towards people who have been labeled as villains on the show. And to some degree, you can't blame the fans. After all, they can only judge a contestant based on what they've seen on the show. But as we know, these shows are barely a reflection of who that person actually is. What makes it worse is these mass harassment campaigns often come from fans who believe they're acting on some kind of moral high ground. They'll flood a contestant's social media with hate, send death threats, and in some cases, dig up private information like addresses or family details. Olivia Atwood from Love Island UK opened up about receiving over 3,000 messages a day after her season aired, many of them telling her she didn't deserve to live. Another is Big Brother's Erin Grease, who spoke about how viewers campaigned for her to lose her job after producers portrayed her as a manipulator through selective editing. But sometimes the harassment doesn't end with hateful comments. For some contestants, the public mauling and emotional toll have pushed them beyond their breaking point. A stat that absolutely blew my mind was that at least 40 people have died on their own volition after their appearances on reality TV.
No way.
Hana Kimura, a female professional wrestler who was among the cast of the popular Japanese reality series Terrace House, died at age 22. She posted a goodbye message on social media after receiving a storm of hate online. Love Island had 2 contestants in back-to-back seasons suffer the same fate. Sophie Graydon, age 32 in 2018, and Mike Thelastis, age 26 in 2019. The Bachelor had 2 women from the same exact season pass, Alexa McAllister and Gia Allemond. What if I told you that the very first person who was ever voted off a reality show in history also suffered the same fate? Would that not be a slight indication of a broken system? In June 1997, Sinisa Savija became the first person in the world to ever be voted off a reality TV competition. The show was called Expedition Robinson. 4 weeks after he was voted off, he walked in front of a train. 9 weeks after that, the first episode of Expedition Robinson aired anyway. Before I started researching this video, I knew reality shows were pretty messed up, but I had no idea just how many tragic losses have been suffered from former contestants and the countless other attempts that have been made. And of course, this fate is never the result of just one thing. It's an incredibly complex and deep decision influenced by countless factors. But when reality shows follow the same formula again and again, calculated casting, 24/7 surveillance, isolating contestants, restricting their diet, flooding them with alcohol, depriving them of sleep, turning them essentially into controlled robots, and then putting all of their worst moments on display to millions of people, it's easy to see the inherent evil reality TV needs to have to create the entertainment. And with so many lives lost, it starts to make you wonder if this obviously broken system will ever change.
Bro, that's actually bonkers, bro. Shout out Patrick CC for always making a good ass video. But like, bro, that's insane. I did not know reality TV was that dark, yo. Like, what? I thought I'm honestly kind of shook. I did not expect that whatsoever, yo. Because like, now I'm really sitting here thinking, once again, I think I really dodged a bullet. I think Mr. G.O.D., Mr. Universe, saved me from going on that damn show, regardless if the money would have been good. Because, look, I consider myself a strong person mentally. Like, I don't think I would have been pushed over the edge, but I do think it would have definitely left some lingering effects on me, yo. Like, this whole, you gonna stay up all night, we gonna wake you up, we gonna leave the lights on, we gonna make you sleep for 2 hours, then go do some damn expedition, you know, when you wake up. Like, bro, that's insane. That's fucking crazy. I'm not gonna lie, man. I've never really been a reality TV show person in general. I mean, I guess ironically, streaming is the new reality TV, but streaming it's not as demonic as this. This is like all these damn corporate industry execs that are like, you know, really, really the demons of the industry. And I pray to God that streaming doesn't evolve into that. I really don't. I really do. Sorry, I really do hope that it doesn't go into that one day. But as of right now, though, the streaming side of things are pretty cool. Even the big dogs like Kai and Plaque and all them, they be doing it the right way. Where like, yeah, there's drama and stuff, but it isn't like, oh, we are destroying our lives over this shit, you know? But as time goes on and streaming becomes a new form of TV, it might end up doing that. I hope not, though. I really, really hope not. But Patrick CC, man, that shit was fire. That shit was fire.